Erica here, and today I'm going to do a review. I am reviewing Pull Me Under by Kelly Luce. This was originally published in November of 2016. It was my book of the month pick for December of 2016, and I've been trying to, and I've been doing a good job of reading my book of the months in the month that I get them, and then I've been trying to also review them for you, as they're usually newer releases, so that's exciting. This is Kelly Luce's debut novel. She does have a short story collection out, the name of which I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I have not read that. And it was a really interesting book. So the premise of this book follows a woman who grew up in Japan, and she was half white and half Japanese. Her mother was American, and when she was 12 years old, she snaps, basically, and she stabs a kid in her class who is bullying her with a letter opener, and he dies. And so she is sent basically to a mental institution, a detention center of sorts for troubled kids, and then she gets out and moves to the U.S. and kind of rewrites her history and starts over. None of that's really spoilery. It happens in like the first 2 chapters, by the way. So the rest of the book is our protagonist, whose name changes throughout the book, but we'll call her Rio because that's the name she goes by for most of the book. She has to travel back to Japan in her adult life and kind of reconcile herself with her past, her family, who she was, who she is now, etc., etc. Overall, I enjoyed the book. I believe I gave it 3 stars, which means I liked it. I didn't have major issues with it. It was an enjoyable reading experience. I would recommend it to most people. I really enjoyed the protagonist, Rio. I thought that kind of her struggle and her meditations on who she was and who she is now was very interesting. And I like the way that the author set that up as well. You kind of go back and forth in time a little bit. So you have present day Rio, who's kind of dealing with raising a family and has kind of shoved her past into her past. And then she has these flashbacks to when she was younger, and as she's trying to figure it all out, so are you as the reader. When I originally read the description of this book, one of the reasons that I picked it up is because it said that the character, spent 7 years institutionalized. If you are looking for that element of the book, I would recommend picking up something else, because I was interested in kind of the mental institution element of the book, and I'm very interested in kind of mental health and how it's treated across the globe, so that's kind of what pulled me in, but those chapters don't last very long, and she's kind of in and out, so you don't get like a detailed look at her life when she's institutionalized, just so you know, because that's something that I encountered. That being said, though, that didn't ruin the book for me. It was just something different than I expected it to be. The writing was really phenomenal. So I thought it was really beautiful. It was really well laid out. I didn't have problems following it. Kelly Luce uses a lot of kind of metaphor. She writes kind of lyrically, but it's not overwritten. Her descriptions of scenery and places and people were really vivid and really came alive for me, and I really enjoyed that. A lot of this book takes place in Japan, and I do not know enough about Japan to say whether or not it was thoroughly researched personally, but I have heard from people who do know a lot about Japan or have spent time there or have lived there that it was really well done. And I believe that Kelly Luce's short story collection is also set in Japan, so I don't know if she's lived there or just has a fascination with the culture. I'm not sure, but apparently she knows her stuff when it comes to Japan, so that's great. So just so you know, I'm always a little bit worried because Kelly Luce is an American author. I'm always a little bit worried kind of about cultural misappropriation and things like that when it comes to a book written in a totally different place, but I think that she did it very well. It felt very realistic. It didn't feel contrived or tropey or any of that, so that was wonderful. So that's all very good, and those are all really great things, and the reason that I did not end up giving this a higher star rating is that I found some of the plot mechanisms and the kind of experiences that Rio had and the encounters she had with people from her past to be a little bit too convenient and a little bit too contrived at times. I thought that, you know, it's hard. I can't really give examples of it without spoiling the book, but, you know, she would encounter people from her past and the way she would meet up with them and the things that they would reveal to her just felt like they were moving the plot along, and a little bit like Kelly Luce was doing that tell, not show kind of thing, where, I don't know, it just felt convenient and a little bit too kind of strictly plotted out. Does that make sense? Like a little bit too rigid in the plot structure, if that makes sense at all. So that's the one problem I had with it. Overall, I thought it was a really good read, and I would definitely recommend it. And if you have any questions about it or have read it and would like to discuss it in the comments, I'm more than happy to do so. I hope you all are having a lovely day. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye!